Hey, everybody. I am actually trying a new platform on here called StreamYard. So let me know, have you used StreamYard before? Are you more privy to or partial to BeLive, StreamYard, all those other awesome platforms that let us go live? I'm actually just testing this out, so it's actually not live. So lucky you, you're all catching it on the replay. So it's all good. So welcome, hi, and for anybody new, I try to jump in here twice a week, and I was just compelled to come on today because I'm getting so many interesting opportunities coming across my desk, my feed. And what it's encouraging me is that the media is ripe for new, fresh ideas. Okay. So a lot of what I do in my 20 plus career is public relations and getting my clients in an expert position enough that they're able to pitch themselves and get published in the news. Now, I do a lot of things and content, produce a lot of content in this group for things of like, what does that mean, right? Self-publishing content versus really what experts are doing, which novices really don't know how to do and can't quite grasp, is actually getting themselves published in some of these editorial like places. And it's actually one of the main things that experts are there are a few things that actually they're doing right now that the rest of us may not be doing a lot of the time. So getting your best stuff out to these highly credible publications that have a circulation and have a membership following and actually only produce content that they haven't paid for, right? Is one of those things that a authentic expert needs to know how to do. So I just wanted to talk about that a little bit today. Number one, the hope of the message of there are opportunities everywhere, and I'm talking in all industries, whether it's HR, whether it's business leadership, whether it's health and wellness, travel, leadership in any way in your field, whether it's nutrition. It's just a myriad of options open all the time. Legal, from accounting, it doesn't matter. And the great news is that if you know how to do three things, you can actually get the attention of some of these publications. So I'm going to share those things, the three things with you today. But I also wanted to talk about what it means to self-publish versus, okay, what do you mean publish? Are you talking books? Are we talking articles? Well, it's both, but what I'm talking about is true thought leadership. Because anyone, to be honest, can self-publish a book, and that's great because it's a place where your best ideas are supposed to be highlighted. So the fact that you've even put that out in public and put your name on it is already such an accomplishment of stepping into your authority of on that topic, which is fine. We can also do things like self-publish our best content, and when you're doing that, it's almost like you become your own publishing house, so to speak, right? You become your own media company in a sense that you're getting these messages out, or your website out, or to a third-party website. But it's a matter of maintaining that consistency and the quality of content that you are producing, because it is your words, right? Your channels. So really you have an opportunity to put anything out on those channels. Then this other thing, which is this more external factor, right? It involves gatekeepers. Okay. It involves someone other than yourself to both edit and direct the narrative. And, it's really scary when you put that in someone else's hands because it feels like the message is sort of out of your control now. But there's a way when we're dealing with this, the world of publishing and editorials and article placement that, again, you're not paying for, but that you're actually being vetted for. And that's the world that I want to introduce more of you to, because that's when you're really stepping into the thought leadership piece. And here's why. When someone asks you to, they're putting out a query, or when you're just going and pitching yourself, like, I would love to be in this magazine. I would love to have an article in that business journal, or that specific podcast that is speaking directly to my target market that, I feel like they've covered everything, or how would I stand out, right? That's the part that I really want you guys to hone in on, because usually the gatekeepers on the other end are looking for a few things. Okay. So number one, you have to have that expert bio just dialed in. And again, it doesn't have to be lengthy. We don't want a dissertation on when you decided to do what you did and how you went to school. You really don't need that. They really just want, what they're looking for is that crisp bio that in a very short order, there's no question that you're the person that they need to be speaking to. So there are things that I work on, for example. So there are speakers bios. There's a general expert bio. There's an author bio. And then there's this, and really you can intertwine all of these depending on the opportunity in front of you. So don't get too overwhelmed there. Let's just call it, have your expert bio locked in. And that may be different than the bio that you thought, you used on your resume 10 years ago. I mean, if that's the bio that you're giving people, I would really call that into question of, is that really your best expert bio, putting it forward. The second thing, and one of the most important, they're all important, but the second thing is what these gatekeepers, okay, are needing from you is your message, your unique perspective. So I want you to think about that. Really, when you're pitching yourself, you should only be pitching and putting forth really your niche, your specialty, your one or two core ideas about how you're going to make it different if they choose to engage with you or if they choose to involve you in this piece or this publication. These one or two concepts that are really going to stand out. In fact, it's your own unique perspective. And here's the important part, guys. This is a perspective that really is not shared by many. What that means is you have to come at these things from your own unique brand perspective or your own unique DNA that has led you to this viewpoint, right? That's a really hard thing to do because let's say, just for a very general example, you're pitching for some kind of marketing publication or something. And they're like, I want the top 3 tips on how to, I'm looking for experts that can share anything they can find on, digital media versus, other sales tactics or B2B versus B2C and the right approach to take. Let's call that example. B2B versus B2C, what's the approach? If you're answering, or if you're like, I'm putting my hat in the ring and you're just answering in generic terms, like, well, I think this and you really just find yourself regurgitating or really struggling coming up with not only what to say, but how to make it sound different than that article you just read last week that actually gave the same answer, and you find yourself just using other people's stuff. That's what I'm talking about. You need to nail in, thought leadership is about bringing a unique perspective that really a lot of others are share, or they're not sharing it in a very smart way. So when you bring those points of view forward, what that starts to build is this foundation. And what the follow-up question always usually is tell me more. Okay. That's the response you want from clients, from editors, from whoever. Tell me more. So that's a really big one I want you to remember. And 3, probably the most distinguishing thing that will distinguish you the most is you're going to have your proof point, right? A lot of the time, these publications are not just going to be satisfied with your opinion, but they're going to want that proof point. Usually it's a piece of data. It could be a statistic that's actually, or it could be a specific piece of experience that's going to back up what you're saying. So these are really key points, guys, that I want to drive home when it comes to pitching, okay? When it comes to getting published, because as I already said before, there's a few things that you're looking around and these experts or consultants or people that are getting these opportunities that you're like, man, I could have said that, right? I could be on that show. I could do that. But then you sit down to think about it and go, okay, I wouldn't know where to start. How would I pitch myself, what my bio should be? So I hope that actually brings a little bit of clarity. And the second takeaway I'd love for you to get is that there is a difference here between, I guess, what we call self-publishing or publishing in your own, like acting as your own media company, which is great, which is a really, and it's a free way to kind of share that, then which is the third step, share that platform that you've built with the rest of the world. That's one option. But that really critical piece, that pitching and landing opportunities, thinking editorially, thinking in a way that is going to add the credibility now to all the content you're creating. Okay. So it's things like consistency over quantity. I want you to think about being more consistent with your message than it is just doling out gobs and gobs and gobs of content. So that's just one of my thoughts today. I woke up with that because I did have a lot of media queries that came across my feed today that I was thinking about sharing with clients and whatnot, and that just popped into being because it always comes down to the same things. It's having people take ownership of their message, come at it from a place that's uniquely their own, and therefore have the confidence to stand out and get noticed, and have people write back and say, "Tell me more," or "I'd like to interview you," or "That sounds interesting." Those are the responses that you want as the go-to expert. So hopefully you can keep that in mind. There are lots of opportunities, guys. The holidays are coming. Don't be distracted by, oh, holidays are here, no one's listening. It's just not true. So I also hope that gave you a bit of confidence in that there is always room for your message. In fact, when people are going to sleep over the holidays, that's when you can come in with something really impactful and maybe bring and rise your message to the surface. So yeah, I hope that rings true for some of you, or grabs your attention, or gives you what you need this week to take that further. And of course, I'm here to answer questions. All you have to do is DM me in this group. And I have certain hours of the day that I am on Facebook, but just, try me and we can communicate that way too. Questions or struggles you're having, challenges, or just ideas you want to run by me, I'm open because I've opened the door to you to be in the group, which I don't do with everybody. So I'm happy that you're here. And this is the group I want to pour into. So thank you again. And I'm going to find a way to post this in through StreamYard. I'm going to keep testing and see if I like this platform better. If you like it, let me know. Other than that, I'll talk to you guys again real soon. Take care. Bye.